What's going on?
What up with it, Wayno, man? I sure appreciate you, brother. Sure
Oh,
appreciate
not a problem, brother. Not a problem at all, man. Not a problem at all. I'm honored to be on here with you.
straight up. I had to joke with you, man. Last week I had to tell you something cool. When we was confirming this,
Hmm.
I had, I think, early Thursday, and
Hmm.
something crazy later on Thursday night. I had tapped on Amazon Prime. I was trying to see if a new episode of The Boys Gen V was on. Next
Oh,
thing,
okay.
but
Yeah.
we were talking about Wu Tang and Nas concert. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I gotta tap into that. I click on there and I see you at a round table. I'm like, man, how cool is that? I just talked to him earlier today, and then seeing you do that round table, and you were talking about kind of like the state of hip hop and all that. And it was really cool to see you on there doing your thing, though, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, I didn't even know. Well, I found out that day it was going to be on Amazon Prime. If I'd have known it was going to be on Prime, I'd have went crazy with the promo. You know what I mean? But I didn't even know. But that shouts out to Amazon Music. I'm a media personality over there, so it was dope to be on a platform like that. Talk to Nas and RZA. That was unbelievable. You feel me?
Man, straight up, bro, straight up. I watched all of that, and just to give everybody a little background on you, Wayno. Once again, I appreciate you. And I was doing my research on you. I seen an article the Huff Post called you the Phil Jackson of hip hop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. Yeah,
But
that was when I was super duper duper heavy on the management side. You know what I mean? I was making a name because I was making a name for that. And what's crazy is like I remember when that article came out, I was with Nas. I was with Nas, and I told him about it. He was like, "Man, you better run with that." He's like, "Yo, you should run with that." You know what I mean? But it was dope.
for real. I know this gonna be kind of a crazy question to start off with, man, but something that I've seen and just researching you about
Hmm.
is something that I'd interviewed David Banner a while ago, and he said something I always thought that was really cool that stuck out to me, and he was just talking about the power of being a good person,
Mm.
and he was talking about T Pain, and he was like, something I always admired about T Pain is everybody always liked him. He make you feel good in a room, and just something about yourself. I've seen you, man, just from your journey and being in those rooms. Just talk about, just being a stand-up guy and being a good person and how one thing can kind of lead to another.
Man, honestly, that really come from just how my mom raised me. You know what I mean? Like I was raised by my mom and my grandmom, so like that's how I grew up. My household was my mom and my grandmom until I got older, and she had my little sister. You feel me? So I was just raised with a lot of love, and I was taught to have manners and be respectful. And that was one of the things that my mom. I used to see my mom was very prideful whenever somebody would say, "Oh, your son has manners," or "Your son is respectful." And then as I got older, and try to when we all of us as young men try to find ourselves, and I was trying to find myself, not being myself. I started to realize that when I wasn't being myself, that what kind of led me back to that was always keeping in mind how my mom raised me. So I carried that into the business. You know what I'm saying? Like I carried that into the business. I always was a very punctual person. Before time, I'm never on time because I feel like when you on time, you late. You know what I'm saying? But I always try to make sure that I just carry myself with a certain type of integrity and respect. You know what I mean? And respect for others first and foremost. You feel me? Like I always make sure that I respect people because you never know what somebody's coming into the day with whenever you meet them or got to talk with them or whatever. So I always try to make sure that I show respect and love. Lead with that. Now, if that goes another way, then we go another way. But first and foremost, man, that just comes from my mom. You know what I mean?
So can you talk a little bit about how you even got the chance of being an A&R? Just being from like a high school dropout to working with Jay-Z and Nas. Like, how, how did that even happen?
Well, I mean, my start came, you know what I mean, with me working in the mailroom. You know what I mean? I was working in the mailroom around like 17 years old, and then I was delivering mail to all of the record labels at Universal. I worked in the Universal building in the mailroom, and that was after I dropped out of high school. And just from that moment, I wanted to make sure that I figured out some sort of way in the music. You know what I mean? When I first saw the movie Juice, is when I said I wanted to be in music. That's the first time because I wanted to be a DJ when I seen Juice. You know what I mean? But I never tried DJing. I was kind of shy when it came to like performance or like doing stuff in front of people. So when I started to see, like, I seen the movie Backstage, that made me want to lean towards being a behind the scenes person. And once I got into stuff, it was just more so just learning because I didn't really know what anything was. Like I was just green. Like I didn't know what nothing was. And I got into it, and I've been here for 21 years now doing this. So, it really just came by trial and error, just, working and figuring things out for myself. Feel me?
That's what I was going to ask. Just when you got the opportunity to become an A&R, how did you learn it? And what were some of the lessons that you learned from it?
I ask questions. Like I was around. Fortunately, a lot of times, man. Like for a lot of things I got into, like some people don't know me and think that things just happen to me. It happened for me. But honestly, it's like I grinded into every position I ever got into, from you know um music and media and all that. And like I just ask questions. Like I'm not shy to ask no questions. Like I've been like that since I was a kid. I will always ask a person, well, how'd you get that, or how'd you do that, or what I got to do to do that. You know what I'm saying? So how I learned how to A&R, fortunately enough, I started at one of the best companies in our history, which was Rockefeller. So I was around hip hop and G Roberson, Lenny S. You know, shit. I think G Roberson manages Little Nas X, Nicki Minaj, G Easy. You know what I mean? Just to name a few people. Lenny S. You know what I mean? He doesn't Lenny not on so much on the music side now. He more on the film side, but he was one of the A&Rs that was really close to Jay. And in hip hop, he A&R'd Jay first album when he was 19 years old. You feel me? So I was around a lot of the right people, and as I just got cooler with them, I just would ask questions like, "Yo," like when I heard the word sequence, I'm like, "What do sequence mean?" So they like somebody told me like, "Oh, that's the start and finish of an album," and I just started asking. Like I remember this vividly. I asked hip hop. I don't even know if he remember, but I asked hip hop like, "Yo, how you sequence an album?" And he just told me like different ways with different artists. Like some artists start the albums off aggressive and then get into different things. It depends on the body of work that you're working on. And then I was under Young Guru too.
Man,
So I would be around Guru. I would ask him questions. Like, bro, I fortunately enough, like I said, man, I started off in a great place, and I was never shy about asking stuff. Like, it's still to this day, bro. If I hear a word that I don't know, I'll still say, "Oh, what does that word mean?" Because some people would say, "Oh, just go on Google," but I'd rather get a human interaction so they could tell me the context and how to use the word, as opposed to me just reading it and saying and just guessing how to use it. So I like to ask people questions.
right on. Something else I thought was cool was the conversation you had with academics about him telling you that it was a space for you in the media landscape, and something that I think is really really cool. That
Mm.
even at that time you said it was kind of eye opening for you, but I don't even know if you kind of saying about yourself. You're not extreme, and I think that's what he was kind of telling you, that everybody looks for the sound bite, the what I'm
Yeah.
saying, something with, but you're just a cool voice in the industry. You know what I'm saying? That I think that was very needed.
Yeah, man. Yo, what's crazy about like doing media? I ain't even know you could make. I've been in media for 5 years, bro. I've made a lot of money. You know what I mean? And I'm not even. And I'm saying that like humbly, because I'm not even one of the top guys, and I've made a lot of money. You feel me? So it's like when I first got into it, I didn't really understand it as being entertainment in the sense of me doing it, right? Like I didn't go in there saying, "Oh, I'm about to be on camera. I'm about to say this. I'm about to talk about." I didn't think of it like that. I just thought like, all right, if a topic come up, I just need to know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about. You know what I mean? I didn't think of it as entertainment. And then like, yeah, one day we was having a conversation, and he said to me that I had like my own space, because when I first started doing media, I came in to Everyday Struggle, which Joe Button had left, and that's big shoes to fill. But I wasn't like, I would never. First of all, Joe Button is a rapper first. You know what I mean? So I could never. I'm not a rapper, so that's one perspective that I don't have when it comes to talking about topics. Then secondly, he's a personality that is gonna go to the extreme with certain stuff. Now I'm gonna defend and protect everything I'm talking about, but I'm just I had the pressure of, am I gonna be that? And I never tried to be that. So what I did was I just put my own twist on it, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna just be exactly how I was. Um, when I'm in the barbershop, you know what I mean? Like when I'm in the barbershop and I just stay an extra 2 hours just because my homies just pulled up. We all like my barber was one of my childhood friends, so like my whole neighborhood, we all were just chilling there. We sitting in there talking about basketball for an hour. We talking about women for an hour. We talking about music for another hour. So that was our Fridays. So I just implemented that into my media style or how I wanted to do it. You know
I
what I mean?
like that. And what's some of the jobs you got? Just talking about the Amazon gig I just seen you got. So what all have you done so far with the media gig since
Well,
every day?
since Everyday Struggle, when Everyday Struggle was ending, I started talking to Amazon about potentially being a part of their team on the media side. My man Tim Himshaw, he won Executive of the Year, I think last year for Billboard. You know what I mean? He
Right.
did a lot of stuff with Kendrick and Tyler, all the stuff you've seen with them. He's put together like a lot of the biggest activations with Amazon Music. Like he was like, yo, I'm taking this job, and he's like, I want to start out this thing with Amazon Music on the hip hop side, and I want to start with you. And I was like, me? Like, you know what I mean? So I was the first personality that they signed. You know, since then they signed Speedy, my man Speedy Morman,
Yeah,
that's my brother. You know, we met when he was at Complex. My brother Rob Markman,
yeah,
you know, Gabe P, my sister Nala Simone, you know what I'm saying? And it's a few other people that's on the platform, but I was the first media personality, and they started out with my show Connected with Wayno. We did that for 2 years. And then you know, we ended the show because we wanted to go in a different direction. I'm still a part of Amazon Music, but we wanted to go a different direction with my show. So this year I did the Dreamville. I hosted Dreamville Fest.
yeah.
I hosted Dreamville Fest. I just hosted, you know, the Nas and Wu-Tang concert. I did the City Sessions, the joint in Atlanta with Jeezy, T.I. and Young Dro. I hosted that, and then with Rob Markman and Nyla Simone, and I'm about to do the Flogna joint in LA next
The
month.
Tyler, dope. That's
Yeah,
dope.
with
Uh,
Tyler Creator joint.
yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to ask you about that I seen you talk about on Twitter that was very interesting, where you was talking about the parallels between Jay-Z dropping albums as he got older and what people were saying about it, and Drake
Yeah.
dropping and the reception he was getting. Can you speak on that a little bit? How you thought that was similar?
Yeah, so I mean, this the thing, right? I think the problem that we have with Drake is that like he's been so good for so long, but everybody's wanted like everybody wants their version of him. You know what I mean? Like if you a super rap, like you love rap and you want him to just rap. You know what I mean? If you come from that time where it was just rap, you just want him to rap. But you know, he started like when he started out in like '08, '07 ish. That's when I first heard him on MySpace.
Yeah.
And then when he came out with So Far Gone in '09, he kind of changed the game with like how he was doing, because it was people who did melody. It's not like nobody never did melody, but nobody never seen a person that sang as good as they rap. You know what I mean? And I think that like
Yeah.
where he's at in his life, everybody's like, oh, he's 37. He should be talking about this down the third. And honestly, I do agree to that to some point, right? But at the same time, like the 37-year-old man today and the 37-year-old man that Jay-Z was is two different men.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like everybody want Drake to be Jay-Z. He's not Jay-Z. Like he's just not. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that as no slight to him. You know what I mean? Because I do think that he's one of the best rappers to ever rap. You feel me? But at the same time, it's like when I seen how they was treating the conversation, which my goat is always gonna be Jay. You know what I mean? I'm gonna do that 15 times out of 10. But for some of these younger people, the way they consume music, we can't tell them like how they should take his music on. Cause when people was doing it to Jay, right? What I mean is like when people was doing this shit with Jay, when Jay was making more mature records, when he did the Kingdom Come album,
Yeah.
because that was the first album where he kind of changed his like strong left turn on his subject matter with 30s
Winning.
the 30s new 20 Hollywood. You know what I mean? He was making a couple of pop records and shit. Everybody was like, oh nah, bro, like you need to be talking
I
about selling
remember.
drugs. Like you need
Yeah.
to be like we want to hear you talk about hustling. And then I seen a dude like it was the you know the most interesting thing about social media is like again when I came in this thing there was no it was social media but it wasn't to the degree it was. So I got people on social media telling me that I don't know what I'm talking about. Meanwhile, I was around Jay-Z when he made Blueprint 3.
Yeah.
I was yo, bro. It's like when you remember when the Kanye thing happened, the Genius documentary, and
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it
Yeah.
was people that was saying how the day went that day. Mind you, I'm on the first episode of the Genius documentary.
Yeah.
I'm like 20 years old, 19 to 20 years old. I'm on that documentary, and there's people telling me how that day went because they're seeing it visually, and I'm telling them from that day what happened. They like, nah, you was a nobody. You don't, so you can't fight the internet. But bro, I just think that Drake, as good as he's been for how long as he's been, he get a lot of like he gave people tons of mature shit and nobody really cared. But I do think that it is a little overbearing that he talks about women as much as he do. But that's his thing. You feel me? Like that's his
Kind
thing.
of thing, and it works. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
it's
saying?
always been his thing. You feel me? But you know, he's arguably one of the best. You feel me? So nobody can never knock that.
Straight up. Well, I'm gonna get you out of here on this one, man. Something that's been talked about a lot in rap, kind of the state of rap. But I'm gonna set it up with, Juicy J had made the post talking about the decline 40% in rap sales, and something that Wallow said that I thought was interesting. Wallow was like, "Man, don't pay attention to the numbers. Rap's the culture. We ain't going anywhere. Don't let it fool you." I'm just wondering, what do you think about where rap is right now?
Man, I think rap is in a good. It's in a weird place, and what I mean by that is like, because do you remember them commercials? So easy a caveman could do it.
Yeah,
That's where rap is. It's like it's to the point where like rap was glorified because everybody, like, you would hear a rapper do something, you'd be like, damn, I could never do that, right? And now it's at a point where it's like everybody does it. Everybody could just try it and say, I'm a rapper or I'm an artist, right? And the reason why it's like that is because people are looking at hip hop culture more so. I mean, it's always been about money,
Yeah.
but it's more so now about money than it's ever been because people looking at it as just a hustle and not a way of life, right? I think that like when I see people complain about Sexy Red, I think that's ridiculous because like there's always been Little Kim took all the arrows for Sexy Red.
Yeah.
Little Kim, Trina, Foxy Brown, LeChat, fucking, what's my homegirl name? Gangsta Boo that passed
Yeah.
away. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
It's so many people. Mia X. There's so many people that did the heavy lifting early on, so that these girls could do what they do. Now, look, it's cool for us to talk about our moral compass and all of that, but it only exists with certain things. Like, your morality can't only be at Sexy Red, but it stops at your favorite rapper that talks about selling drugs.
Yeah.
It can't. You can't have a moral compass for Sexy Red only because her skill set might not be the best lyrically, and be like, oh, but I love Jeezy, and I love Jeezy,
Yeah.
but majority of his music is talking about putting drugs in the community. You feel me? So it's like you can't, like, I just feel like we in this tug of war with ourselves, and no matter what, not enough of us are learning the business to be able to amplify the conversation on a business conversation. It's just, oh, the culture, the culture, and while we screaming all of that, we keep getting backdoored on these numbers. You feel me?
Yeah.
Like, them numbers, I'm not going to say numbers don't matter because, bro, if you were selling lemonades and you only sold one lemonade a week, people would be like, yo, maybe lemonade is not your thing to sell. You might need to sell iced tea, or you might need to sell water. You know what I mean?
Straight up.
But I do believe that you know what I'm saying, I do believe that, you know music is in a place where we can pick the things that we want. We in charge of the things that we want, and we're not picking enough of it. I want to say this before I get out of here, bro. If nobody's heard him, it's this young man, an artist by the name of Lareezy. He's from New Orleans. He's 18 years old. I promise, and this is just from my own standpoint and perspective, I promise that this kid, for everything that everybody's complaining about when it comes to hip hop, I'm not going to say he's an answer, but he's something that is like, how they say history repeats itself? He's going to be great in that sense. As
Okay. That's
he's
good to know.
Lareezy. Lareezy from Louisiana. He's 18 years old. No, 19 years old. Problem.
And you stamped it.
Problem.
All right.
Problem. He's from New Orleans.
Straight up.
Problem. Feel me?
Wayne, just don't know. I appreciate this so much. Like I told you when we talked earlier, you're a wealth of knowledge, and we didn't even tap the surface of it, man. But I
It's
just
all good,
appreciate.
bro. I'll come back for a part two with you.
Hey, that mean the world to me. I'm gonna hold you to that
No
too.
problem, my brother, man. Have a good day, man. From
All
me to
right.
you, I appreciate you.
All
Peace.
right. Thank you, brother.
All right.